Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has given a very revealing interview about his possible future plans, including what it will take to make a fight with either Deontay Wilder or Joseph Parker. The Brit has also left no doubt about who is calling the shots in his career. I'll get to some of the most interesting things Joshua has told IFL TV and drop a few thoughts of my own. There's a number of things to cover off here. And I'll also go over some of the reaction from Joseph Parker's camp, including from Parker himself, and Tyson Fury has also waded in. This IFL interview, it's certainly one of the most candid ones that I think I've ever seen Joshua do, and clearly designed to send a message. Well, actually, several of them. Joshua has told IFL, see the link in the description, the difference between him and Deontay Wilder is he doesn't say things just to please people, that he means what he says. He added he doesn't negotiate or do business in public. As a result of Wilder accusing him of ducking, he's actually called a meeting of his people and found there had been no offers from Deontay Wilder's people, or in fact from Joseph Parker either. He said it seems although there's interest, there's no serious interest. So as a result, he's asked Eddie Hearn to speak to Wilder's people while he's in America this week. And I would note from the Boxing Voice interview, Eddie Hearn kind of let people think he was the one doing it on the show there, that he was authorized to speak and he would set up a meeting. But from what Joshua is saying, he is the one that told Eddie Hearn to make those meetings. I'll just cut in here for a moment with a couple of thoughts. It's been very clear that there's been growing momentum for unification bouts involving Anthony Joshua, in particular with Deontay Wilder and to a lesser extent Joseph Parker. I mean, what we've seen in recent weeks, from Deontay Wilder especially, is Wilder building a campaign on social media calling Joshua out, saying he's scared, he's ducking, and he isn't acting like a proper champion should. And this sort of rhetoric and sort of fan fervour that has been developing for a Wilder-Joshua bout, it's certainly gone into overdrive since Wilder destroyed Bermane Stiverne. There has been a perceptible shift. People really want this fight. For me, in recent weeks, Joshua and his team have lost control of the narrative, and some of the assertions from Deontay Wilder, they are now being taken to be fact by some fans. And you would have noticed Joshua has pulled back on his previous comment of perhaps letting the fight, sort of marinate or just take a couple of years before it actually happens. So I do believe Wilder has been actually relatively successful in exploiting Anthony Joshua's pride. Let's face it, no one, let alone a unified boxing champion, wants people to ridicule them and to be called scared. It has seemingly had an impact on Joshua, and it's managed to draw him out, and he is telling the world that he accepts the challenge. He's not having any of this ducking talk. He accepts the challenge from Wilder, and from Parker for that matter. But it's interesting, and quite clever actually, how he's trying to turn it back around by saying that the other champions, well, if they were serious about facing him, they'd be making offers. He is clearly of the belief, and rightly so, that a call out on social media or in the media, whatever the case may be, doesn't constitute an offer. And see this tweet on screen here, and this is what he's put up in relation to Joseph Parker. I guess the counter argument would be, well, if Anthony Joshua was truly serious about fighting either Parker or Wilder, shouldn't his people be reaching out as well? But we could debate these things all day. But reach out on social media with an offer is exactly what Joshua's statements have prompted David Higgins, Joseph Parker's promoter, to do. So see on screen, and this follows that earlier tweet, at Anthony Joshua, at Eddie Hearn, opening offer, will promote fight anywhere worldwide and pay you 60% upside, open book minimum. It's a pretty interesting tweet there from David Higgins. And let's not get things confused, let's not get it twisted about what this tweet actually means. He's not saying 40% of the purse split here. He's not just talking about the purse. He's talking about everything. So 40% to Parker of every slice of every pie associated with the fight. So that covers everything. That would likely represent tens of millions of dollars for Joseph Parker at 40%. And I do note that that has seemingly been lost on New Zealand media who've been reporting on this, reporting the tweets. They seem to be associating 40-60 with the purse or something. It's a bit weird. I would note though, Team Joshua hasn't been above misdirection either. Not everything can be taken at face value. It's all positioned very carefully, or maybe slightly off centre for a certain reason. For example, Eddie Hearn, he's recently stated that they were looking at Joseph Parker for February the 3rd. That was the fight they wanted before a Wilder fight mid-2018. He gave the impression that it was in the works and that things were somewhat advanced. But at the time, it came as news to Joseph Parker's promoter, David Higgins, who'd had no contact from Hearn about it. So some of these things we hear, and you have to go, well, what is the real story here? Because we hear all these different sides, all these different takes on things. But getting back to the money side, no doubt you would have heard and read much about how much Wilder and Parker want to face Anthony Joshua. And this is on the purse split, well, seemingly on the purse split, with their promoters talking a 50-50 split, or at least something near it. So on that, Joshua said, "They say we bought the belt from Charles Martin. I feel like these champions are willing to sell their belts, because if it's about value, we'll look at what their value is, and let's say we double what their value is to fight me. I don't see why they won't step up to the plate and challenge. But you hear like Joseph Parker saying they offered like 20% of the pot, and I'm not happy with that. Well, it's like, are you trying to sell yourself to fight? Are you trying to sell your belt?" Shots fired on that front. So it's a none too subtle message that while Joshua is willing to pay more than Parker and Wilder are worth commercially without him, there is a limit to what Joshua believes they deserve. Asking the question, are they trying to sell their belt? It's actually a good one, as it isn't something that has been coming up a lot in recent days or weeks as unification talk has bubbled along. We've been more focused on the other side of the equation. The sort of split part of it is 20, 30, 40, 50% a fair cut. Clearly for Joshua, it's not just about the percentage split. It's a lot more granular than that. And he knows he's the A side and he's bringing the bulk of the pot to the equation. The comment of selling the belt, well, that has prompted Joseph Parker to actually respond on social media. And I would note Joseph Parker is really inactive on social media. Generally, the stuff that they post on his Facebook page or whatever is essentially sharing news stories that are about Joseph Parker, not stuff from Joseph Parker directly. He's even quieter on Twitter itself. Anyway, on Twitter, he's responded, "At Anthony Joshua, my belt's never for sale, but I'll add your two to my collection when you're ready." At Eddie Hearn, at David Higgins Duco, never been dropped. And that never been dropped is in reference to Joseph Parker's chin. He's never been down in sparring in the amateurs as a professional. So Higgins and Parker, they have been saying they think Joseph Parker can take Anthony Joshua's best and could have a good chance of knocking Joshua out. In terms of Wilder, well, he's been all over social media, as we know, and as I've already noted. In his most recent tweet on the issue, it was to the point, no more talking, no more excuses. So we know Parker and Wilder, they want to fight. But it's clear money is the obvious sticking point, and their promoters obviously have a vested interest to negotiate the best deal for their fighter, and ultimately for themselves. But Joshua, he is certainly warning them, don't get too greedy. Don't price yourself out of the game. And as a boxing fan, I would be severely disappointed if money got in the way of unification. But as a realist, I know it's a business, and these guys, they do have to think about their careers and life after boxing. I mean, some of it may be posturing like a 50-50 starting point on the purse split, as Parker's promoter has suggested. But hammering out a deal that all sides are happy with, it's not going to be easy. Let's face it, they all have options to fight other guys. They don't have to fight each other. Fans want it, and the fan pressure is growing. And actually, they do kind of need each other to really set themselves above each other and the chasing pack. But ultimately, if the money's not right, it might not happen. And that's just a reality as well of boxing. But on this front, Joshua says he's more than willing to fight, as he's not in the business of avoiding or ducking. There was one segment in this interview that was particularly fascinating for me. Joshua was talking about Dillian Whyte, and I'm paraphrasing here, not being part of any deal associated with him because he's a rival. So for anyone to say that Wilder would have to fight Whyte first to get to him is just not true. It's false. And Kugan Cassius tried to sort of get in there and say, well, actually, that's what Eddie Hearn has been saying all along publicly. But Joshua just cut him off and really sort of ripped into him in the nicest possible way. He was saying, I told you what I said. I don't know why you're referring to what Eddie just said. You know where I'm coming from? It doesn't make sense. I've just told you what my meetings were about, and Dillian's name didn't come up once. And Kugan, obviously thinking Joshua had got the wrong end of the stick, tried to clarify that, what he was actually saying, that he was actually backing up what Joshua was saying. But Anthony Joshua was having none of it, and clearly he was aggravated that, Eddie Hearn's words had to be thrown in here to sort of back his own up, or whatever was going on. And so he sort of got back into that line of reasoning, and then later on he said, now I've had to take it upon myself on my time off to gather my team and make plans to travel to America to discuss negotiations so I can become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And that's the way business is done. And I took that to be a very clear message from that and what he'd earlier said. He is the one in control. He is the one calling the shots, and Eddie Hearn represents him on that front. Eddie Hearn is not in control. Eddie Hearn is not driving the deals. Joshua is. That much is clear. So whether these fights actually happen or not, I'm not sure that we can put it down to whatever Eddie Hearn is doing or not doing in the room on the phone. Ultimately, a deal will come down to whether Anthony Joshua says yes. I mean, obviously there's some factors on the other side, are people being fair, realistic, all that sort of thing. But Anthony Joshua is the one calling the shots. And I know there's been a number of people who've actually been saying, has Anthony Joshua actually outgrown Eddie Hearn? Does he need him anymore? He could probably make his own way. And maybe there's something in that. Certainly from what I took from the interview, he's saying, I'm firmly in control of my career, my destiny. I'm in the driver's seat. I'm making all the decisions. And that's good to hear in the sense that, he has actually got a measure of control over his career. Because I would note with someone like Joseph Parker, it actually seems sometimes that he appears to be under the thumb of David Higgins. Higgins is the front man that seems to be making all the decisions, all the shots. Whereas, we do hear sometimes that ultimately it's Joseph Parker's decision on the fights. But, the power balance seems to be maybe a bit different to the way Joshua is describing his with Eddie Hearn. I mean, who really knows for sure? But he was sending a message. Anthony Joshua, he also touched on Tyson Fury when asked about Fury. And he said on one hand, he wants to fight him, he wants to beat him, but on the other, Fury is not relevant because he's not fighting. He's not in the division. He's not a rival. And he followed that up later with a expletive-laden tweet encouraging Fury to get fit. And Fury has wasted no time in responding.
This is the message to the weightlifter, Big Anthony Joshua, the big tough man who told me to get fit. Fat fuck. It's a new one because he usually doesn't swear. He tries to not be himself. So he's being himself now, which is good. To be honest with you, my old mate, I don't need to get fit for somebody like you at all. I could come to you now and punch all your face right in for you, even at 25 stone. So I really don't need to get fit for you. Anyway, put it that way. Seen what you're about. You just fought a midget the other day in a hard fight. The referee had to stop it in case you got caught or beat. Bomb City, like I always said. Useless. No gas, no stamina, too many weights. You want to practice on a bit more speed and less power. Boom.
The heavyweight scene right now, it is awash with all these storylines, particularly at the champion level. Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua, and Tyson Fury. Just think about what we've seen in the past couple of weeks. They are dominating the headlines. And it is really sucking the oxygen away from a lot of other fights, a lot of other fighters. But at the same time, it is good for boxing, probably great for boxing, and it is getting people talking. Not just boxing fans, other people are getting involved. They're hearing these guys' names and they're wondering what's going on. It's got to be good, right? What do you make of it? Drop a comment loud and often. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.